In this record, we are going to discuss how to expand a pair of brackets with two terms inside each one. They call it binomial expansion. Binomial, well, bi means two in Latin. So there are two numbers inside each bracket, and you've got two brackets. So you've got to expand this out by multiplication. But before we go to demonstrate how to do this, let's go back to number 3. I think I forgot to mention that the answer is C. X is 1 and y is equal to -2. Also, the topics, I'm going to include the topics. This is expanding and simplification. You can look this up in YouTube to get more examples on expansion and simplification. Okay, all you do, you go to a new tab and you click YouTube and go to YouTube and you click on YouTube, expansion, simplification of algebraic expressions. And please, here you have some examples. You take your pen, you take your paper, and you practice as much as you can. Expansion and simplification of algebraic expressions. So I'm going to put the topics for each of the questions so that you can practice more examples of them using the available resources that are online. The topic that this question is testing is solving linear equations. So you copy this, you paste this in YouTube, and you get more examples and you put pen to paper. Question number 3, solving a pair of simultaneous linear equations using matrices. Question number 4, which this record is all about, is binomial expansion. So you can copy this, paste this in YouTube, binomial expansion. Binomial expansion have a lot, has up to the power of 2. Let's specify binomial expansion of power 2. Okay, so you have that. Let's specify a little bit more. Right, so I had to modify the name to be more specific. Expanding brackets to get a quadratic expression. Okay? Binomial expansion is a broad term. So expanding brackets to get a quadratic expression, because when you expand this expression, you're supposed to get a quadratic. Okay? So here it is. Here you have different examples. You must get a quadratic expression when you finish expanding this. When you expand this, you're supposed to get a quadratic. How to expand quadratics, double brackets. Okay, you have different ways of explaining it. Okay, so let's just copy this and let's use this as the topic for this question. Expanding brackets to get a quadratic expression. So, how to do this? The first bracket has 2 terms inside of it. The second bracket has 2 terms. Each term in the first bracket must multiply to each term in the second bracket. So you see the 3x? it must multiply to x. And the 3x again have to multiply to 1. You see the negative 2? Negative 2 have to multiply to x, and the negative 2 have to multiply the 1 to 1. Sometimes they call it the smiley method. You see the 3x multiplied to the 1. Imagine the x, the 3x multiplied to 1. Imagine two cubes, another pair of cubes. Negative 2 multiplied to x, negative 2 multiplied to 1. So let us demonstrate how to do that. So you have 3x multiply to x. And then the 3x, now the 3x is a plus 3x. So that's why I'm putting a plus there. There's a plus in front of the 3 that is not seen. So that's a plus 3x. Okay, if I put a plus there, that will not be wrong. If I put a plus in front of the 3, that will not be wrong. But you don't usually see that a number with a plus in front of it. But there's an invisible plus. If it's a minus, it will be there. Okay, so that's why I put a plus, because that's a plus 3x times a plus 1. That will be 3x. So the plus 3x have to multiply to the 1. You multiply. Now the negative 2 have to multiply again to the x, and that same negative 2 have to multiply to the 1. Now you not really do that in the exam, okay? What you will do in the exam is the answer right away. And as soon as you multiply the first 2, you're going to get the quadratic one time. 3x times x going to give you 3x squared. 3x raised to the power of 2. Because 3x times x, you have an x to the power of 1. There's a power of 1 that is not seen. There's an x to the power of 1. If you don't see a power, the power is 1. And since you're multiplying, 1 plus 1 will give you 2. So that's where that 2 come out. And that's where the quadratic appears all of a sudden. Okay, so you see all the answers are of 3x squared. X by x is x squared. Now, 3x times 1 will give you 3x. And that's what you will write in the exam. You don't write 3x times x, you write 3x squared. 3x times 1, you don't write it down, you just write 3x. You write the answer in your mind 1 times. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. That's what you write down. And negative 2 times 1 is a negative 2. And then now you simplify. 2 middle terms will always be able to simplify because they will be like. Remember, like terms, you have to repeat the same letter when you say in it. 3x, negative 2x. Okay, I'm saying x twice, so they are like. Okay, once you're repeating the combination of letters the same way, then they are like. 3x subtract 2x will give you 1x, or just x. So the answer is 3x squared plus x, subtract 2. The answer is C.